Have you ever lived this nightmare? You give her everything: your love, your loyalty, your money, your time, only to watch her grow cold, distant, and gone. You fight for the relationship, but the harder you try, the faster she slips away. And you're left staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., asking yourself the question every man asks: why wasn't I enough? That question has destroyed more men than war, debt, or failure ever could. It's the wound that never heals. The haunting thought that no matter what you do, no matter how much you give, it will never be enough to keep her. And here's the cruel truth. It's not because you're broken. It's because you've been playing the wrong game with the wrong rules. Trying to understand women with male logic is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. The harder you twist, the worse it gets. You're running the wrong software. You're trying to decode iOS with an Android manual. And that's why you lose. Today, I'm going to expose the hidden program inside her brain. Not the fairy tale she tells you. Not the polite version society sells you. The raw algorithm that drives every decision, every test, every manipulation. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. You see, the real problem isn't that women are confusing. The problem is that men keep trying to read them through a male lens. You approach her with logic, with fairness, with the belief that consistency and loyalty will earn her love. But what happens? The harder you hold on, the faster she pulls away. It feels insane, and yet it keeps happening. That's because you're not speaking her language. You're not running her software. You're stuck trying to run iOS code on an Android phone. No matter how hard you push, it will never compute. Here's the part no one wants to admit. The female brain was never designed for the same purpose as the male brain. While men evolved to solve problems, to build, to hunt, to protect, women evolved with a different survival strategy. They learned to secure resources, to manipulate without muscle, to control without force. That isn't an insult. It's evolutionary psychology. It's biology. And ignoring it is why so many men keep losing a game they don't even realize they're playing. I've seen it play out countless times. A man tells me, "I gave her everything. Why did she leave?" He's broken, confused, searching for answers. But the truth is brutal. The moment he gave her everything, he became nothing. The mystery was gone. The puzzle was solved. The game was over. And women don't stay when the game ends. They need constant stimulation, constant challenge, constant proof that you're still worth the investment. The second you stop being a challenge, you stop existing as a man in her eyes. Science backs this up. In studies of couples during conflict, men's brains lit up in the problem-solving centers. Women's brains exploded in the emotional and memory centers. You're focused on fixing the leaky faucet in front of you. She's replaying every time you forgot to call, every birthday you got slightly wrong, every moment she ever felt less than perfect. You live in the present. She lives in every moment, all at once. And this is where the algorithm begins. The female mind runs on 4 variables, constantly scanning. How do I feel right now? What can I extract here? Time, attention, resources, status. How does this affect my position compared to other women? And the final, most dangerous question: can I do better? This loop runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like Bitcoin mining, but for relationships. And until you see this, you'll never understand why she does what she does. Loyalty doesn't mean the same thing to her as it does to you. For a man, loyalty means standing by someone through thick and thin, holding the line no matter what comes. For her, loyalty means something very different. It means you proving every single day that you can still win her attention, her respect, her desire. The moment you stop competing, the moment you relax thinking you've made it, she feels abandoned. In her mind, your comfort is betrayal. Your contentment is neglect. Your satisfaction is rejection. She needs you hungry for her, chasing her, proving yourself even 20 years into marriage. If you stop fighting for her, she believes she's not worth fighting for. I've seen stories that capture this perfectly. A woman leaves her husband, saying he was emotionally unavailable. She finds a new man who showers her with constant attention. At first, it feels intoxicating, but 6 months later, she's gone again. This time because he's too needy. The husband wasn't cold, he was steady. The new man wasn't weak, he was attentive. But her brain doesn't process absolutes. It only reacts to relative shifts. She doesn't want a fixed amount of love or attention. She wants the feeling of earning it. She wants the thrill of conquest, not the comfort of ownership. Science uncovers something even more shocking. Women's brains sync when they spend time together. Their cycles align. Their speech patterns blend. Their opinions converge. But this isn't friendship. It's hierarchy. Every compliment is a power play. Every secret shared is ammunition. Every girl's night is a silent battlefield, a mission to gather intel and secure status. This is the female social matrix, the invisible web that rules her decisions. She isn't judging her relationship by whether she's happy. She's judging it by whether she's happier than the women around her. And here's where modern life makes it brutal. Social media has turned the comparison game into a never-ending nightmare. She's no longer comparing you to her best friend's boyfriend. Now she's measuring you against the highlight reel of every perfect moment from every couple online. You're not competing with real men anymore. You're competing with a fantasy composite stitched together from millions of carefully curated images. That's why no matter how hard you try, it feels like you can never measure up. This is where men lose their minds, the paradox. She demands commitment, but the moment you fully commit, her attraction fades. She begs you to open up emotionally, but when you finally cry, when you finally show vulnerability, her respect vanishes. She says she wants success, but the hours and obsession it takes to build that success, she resents them. This isn't contradiction. It's design. It's not a bug. It's the test. Every demand is not about what she's asking for. It's about whether you have the strength not to cave. I knew a man who thought he had solved it. His girlfriend complained he never shared his feelings. So one night, he finally opened the floodgates. He told her about his fears, about his father's death, about his depression. For 2 weeks, she acted distant. By the end of the month, she was gone. Later, she confessed to a mutual friend, "I just couldn't see him as a protector anymore." Understand this. She didn't actually want the information. She wanted to know if she could break him open. And once she could, he was worthless to her. This instinct goes deeper than culture. It's evolutionary code. Women are physically vulnerable during pregnancy and child-rearing. Nature wired them to constantly test for resources and protection. Every complaint, every test, every demand is an unconscious scan. Can you still provide? Can you still protect? Are you still strong enough to justify her biological investment? That was the ancient code. But modern society corrupted the system. Women don't need men for survival anymore. They have careers, government support, and endless options on dating apps. Yet the extraction protocol never blew up. Shut off. Now, instead of food and shelter, she's mining you for validation, attention, experiences, and emotional labor. She's running Stone Age software in a digital world, and you're the one crashing under it. Spend time in female-only spaces, and you'll see it clear. Forums, group chats, comment sections. It's the same pattern. 70% of the talk is about how to get more out of men. 20% is about looks to attract higher-value men. 5% is competition with other women. 3% is sex. 2% is everything else: career, hobbies, growth. 2%. The other 98% is about optimizing male utility. And how do they enforce it? With the guilt-fear system. First, she installs guilt. You're not enough. You're not romantic enough. You're not doing enough. Then she flips the switch to fear. I might leave. I might find someone better. I might not love you anymore. And now you're running her code, second-guessing every move, terrified to break the program. The programming starts at birth. Boys are told they have to earn love. They have to achieve, to perform, to prove their worth again and again. And it's never enough. Girls, on the other hand, are told they deserve love just for existing. They're special. They're princesses. They're worthy simply because they breathe. That's why so many men grow up chasing approval that never comes, while women grow up expecting it as a given. The game is rigged before you even start playing. And the cruel twist? Your own mother was probably the first one to install this code into you. Psychologists tested couples in a resource allocation game. When women controlled the resources, they shared less than men. When they didn't control the resources, they demanded more. The conclusion was unavoidable. The female strategy is extractive. Take more when weak. Take even more when strong. The male strategy is protective. Share when strong. Conserve when weak. Completely different operating systems. You see this cycle repeat in relationships thousands of times. She enters soft, sweet, affectionate, sexual. He commits. She slowly pulls back affection and raises her demands. He tries harder to win her back. She loses respect. He panics and doubles his efforts. She becomes disgusted and leaves, or cheats. And he's left broken, whispering, "But I gave her everything she asked for." That's the problem. He followed her script instead of his own. The instructions were the test. By obeying them, he failed. Understand this. The female brain processes weakness like kryptonite, not because women are cruel, but because weakness signals inferior genes. Her ancestors who chose weak men didn't survive. Evolution sharpened her detection system beyond anything technology could match. She can sense insecurity in the timing of your texts. She can smell fear in your words. She can feel desperation in the gifts you give, a fraction of hesitation in your voice on the phone, and her attraction drops 10%. And no, women aren't more emotional than men. They're more tactical with emotions. They use them as weapons. Tears can be strategy. Anger can be calculation. Sadness can be manipulation. You see emotions as problems to solve. She sees emotions as tools to deploy. And here's the final slap. Women don't actually want equality. They want selective equality. Equal pay? Yes. Equal accountability? No. Equal opportunities? Yes. Equal responsibilities? Not a chance. They want your advantages added to their own, not actual equality. That's not hypocrisy. That's optimization. Spend a day in the world of beauty work, hair salons, nail bars, spas, and you'll see the code in action. Women in these jobs listen all the time to wealthy clients bragging about trips to Paris, gifts from boyfriends, vacations paid for by husbands. Then they go home to their own men with resentment burning in their chest. Not because you failed, but because someone else gave more. Her reference point isn't reality. It's the highlight reel she absorbs through endless conversations and endless scrolling. And you're the one who pays the price for it. Here's what most men never grasp. Women don't use conversation to exchange information. They use it to establish dominance, to extract validation, and to gather intelligence. When she tells her friends about your problems, she isn't looking for solutions. She's building a case, playing the victim, casting you as the villain so that she earns sympathy and power. Her friends don't advise, they reinforce the narrative. It's ritual, not consultation. And the comparison engine inside her never switches off. Every woman you talk to, she scans. Is this woman younger, prettier, thinner? Would he choose her over me? Every man she interacts with, she scans too. Is he richer, taller, more confident? Could I get him if I wanted? It's not conscious cheating. It's automatic optimization. Her brain is like a stock trading bot running 24/7, constantly evaluating whether a better investment exists. This is where female dialectical thinking comes in. A man craves consistency, one solid truth. A woman can hold two opposite truths at once with zero discomfort. She can believe you are the love of her life, and at the same time, believe she deserves better. She can swear marriage is sacred and keep divorce in her back pocket as an option. She can pledge loyalty while keeping backup plans. To her, both truths are equally real in the moment. That isn't lying. It's her operating system. Even female friendships reveal the pattern. They are built not on loyalty or shared battles like men's, but on transaction. Emotional support, resource exchange, validation, access. When the trade becomes uneven, the friendship dissolves. The code doesn't stop with romance. It runs through every relationship. And at the heart of it is hypergamy, the relentless drive to secure the highest value man available. But here's the cruel twist. Available is constantly recalculating. Every success story she hears, every man she meets, every couple she scrolls past, raises the bar. You're not just competing with other men. You're competing with an ever-inflating fantasy standard that lives only in her imagination. I know a man who spent 10 years building his business. Long nights, endless sacrifices, chasing a dream with his wife by his side. He finally made it. Success, money, status, the life they had always talked about. And the moment he arrived, she left. She said he had changed. She claimed he was distant. The truth? Her hypergamy calculator updated. A successful version of him could attract women she couldn't compete with. Her value plummeted in her own eyes. She didn't leave because he changed. She left because her relative position dropped. This is why male and female love are not the same. A man falls in love, locks it down, and wants it forever. A woman falls in love and immediately starts testing if it's real. Male love is like concrete. Once it sets, it's solid. Female love is like water, always moving, always adapting, always evaporating if not constantly contained. That's why she can fall out of love overnight, while it takes you years to let go. Her brain sorts men into 3 boxes: alpha for genes, beta for resources, invisible for everyone else. You can move between boxes, but each move is harder than the last. Start as beta, you'll never fully be alpha. Start as alpha and slip into beta, you'll never regain alpha. Start as invisible, and you may as well not exist. The cruel twist is she wants both alpha and beta, but often from different men, which is why she can marry the provider while secretly fantasizing about the pool boy. And here's the revelation most men never accept. Women are not relationship builders. They're relationship extractors. The story that they are nurturers, guardians of love, natural caretakers? Backwards. Men build the house, the frame, the system. Women test how much can be drained before it collapses. And when it does, they move on to the next structure and start again. An island experiment proved this. Men organized, divided labor, built shelter, created order. Women burned through supplies, fought constantly, and created nothing. When men joined them, the women stopped working and expected provision. When women joined the men, they created drama that tore systems apart. That wasn't culture. That was nature. Look back through history and you see the same pattern. Rome, Greece, Babylon, every collapse followed the same curve. Female influence rose, standards dropped, accountability vanished, birth rates crashed, strength decayed, and outside forces conquered. Because when you optimize for female psychology, comfort over challenge, feelings over facts, you breed weakness, and weakness always gets conquered. Look at today's dating market, and you'll see female psychology unchained. No shame, no accountability, no limits. And the result? Exactly what any man who understands hypergamy would predict. 20% of men soak up 80% of female attention. The rest are invisible. Women would rather share a high-value man than settle for one they see as average. And then they cry out, "Where have all the good men gone?" They're right in front of them. They just can't see them anymore because their vision has been recalibrated to only recognize the top tier. That's why statistics lie. People say women initiate 70% of divorces. The truth? Women end 100% of relationships. Half the time they do it directly. The other half, they push the man until he breaks. She withholds affection, creates constant tension, fills the relationship with drama, until finally, he can't take it and leaves. Then she gets to wear the mask of the victim. He abandoned me. You drove him out. Her memory system makes it even darker. Female memory is revisionist. Every relationship she ever had gets rewritten. The ex she swore she loved becomes an abuser. The husband she couldn't live without becomes a narcissist. The boyfriend she begged not to leave becomes a stalker. This isn't always conscious lying. It's her brain rewriting history to protect her ego. She was never wrong. She never made bad choices. It was always the man's fault. And underneath all of it runs the validation economy. Every interaction deposits or withdraws from her internal bank. Did you text back fast enough? Deposit. Did you like her photo? Deposit. Did you mention another woman? Withdrawal. When her balance runs low, she manufactures drama to force a refill. The fights aren't the problem. The fights are the solution. And here's what breaks most men. They keep offering solutions. She complains, and you try to fix it. But fixing it kills the validation stream. She doesn't want solutions. She wants confirmation. She wants her feelings justified. That's why the problem never ends. Because the problem isn't the problem. The problem is the fuel. And until you grasp this, you'll keep being treated as what you are in her eyes. Not a partner, but a Swiss Army knife. A collection of tools, emotional support, financial support, social status, validation. She doesn't love you. She loves what you provide. And when a better tool comes along, or when you break, you're replaced. Here's the hardest pill to swallow. The female brain has no concept of honor, loyalty, or principle the way men imagine it. Those are male constructs, values you project onto her. She doesn't stay because it's the right thing to do. She stays because leaving hasn't become the better option, yet. She doesn't tell the truth because honesty matters. She tells whatever version of the truth serves her in that moment. She doesn't love you for who you are. She loves you for how you make her feel about herself. Look across history. Every time women gained unchecked control of resources and power, societies collapsed. Not because of oppression, but because matriarchies destroy themselves. Birth rates fall. Productivity crumbles. Entire nations weaken until they are conquered. There has never been a lasting female-dominated society because female psychology is wired for extraction, not for building. And here's the cruelest truth. Women despise men who see through the system. The moment you show that you understand her operating code, you become the enemy. The entire structure depends on your ignorance. That's why women police each other so ruthlessly. One woman breaking ranks and revealing the truth threatens them all. This is why women who expose female psychology to men are attacked more viciously by other women than by men themselves. The illusion must be protected at all costs. But now you've seen it, and you can't unsee it. You can't go back to believing the fairy tale. You can't pretend female love is the same as male love. You can't pretend loyalty means the same thing. Once you see the code, every interaction becomes transparent, every test obvious, every manipulation visible. So you face a choice: accept her operating system and learn to play within it, or reject it completely and walk away. But you cannot change it. Billions of years of evolution will not be undone by your love, your sacrifice, or your commitment. She runs her code. You run yours. The only question is whether those codes are compatible. Remember, her brain isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. The lie is that it was designed for love, for partnership, for loyalty. It wasn't. It was built for survival, extraction, optimization. And in a world where survival is guaranteed and options are endless, that same program has mutated into a monster that consumes everything in its path. So the red button is in front of you. Push it, and you'll see women as they truly are, not as you wish they were. Refuse, and you'll keep wondering why your loyal, logical approach keeps failing. Understanding the female brain isn't about hating women. It's about ending the insanity of expecting them to think like men. They don't, they can't, they won't. And once you accept that, you finally stop playing their game and start playing your own.